everyone, back to Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with another Rumour Has It video. We're talking about players linked to the football club this coming transfer window. And boy, January is shaped up to be a huge transfer window. There's going to be loads of players linked to the football club in the coming weeks. We've got 3 players from one club here to talk about. I'm not entirely sure about these players, if I'm brutally honest with you, and I'll explain why in a second. Just before we get stuck into it, as we always remind you, if you're new to the channel, hello, hope you had a good Christmas. Lovely to see you. Smash that button, consider subscribing. It's all free content and Evermore. But if you do want to give a little bit back to the channel, there is a $1.99 membership option down there. It helps us bring you this great content, loads of stuff for you to watch, previews, post-match analysis, and transfer videos like you're just about to watch. So why not hang around a little bit longer? So let's get stuck in. Then who are we talking about? Well, we're talking about 3 players from one club in Italy, and that club is it Salernitana? That's the one, Salernitana. I'm getting marked to do these ones next time. He's stitching me up with these bloody names, trying to trip my pronunciation up. Yes, but Salernitana in Serie A. So we have been linked to 3 of their players, and apparently, as the rumor goes, is that Dan Ashworth has been over to look at these players. I'll start with the one in particular where the link came from, but apparently we have been looking at 2 other players as well. So let's start with the big one, and this is the player that we're talking about that he's been to see, and that is a Boulaye Dia. So he is a Senegal international. African Cup of Nations screams at me straight away, so he'll probably be unavailable for 3 weeks in January. So I'm not sure. Well, that's a good move, Dan Ashworth, if you are looking at this player. But talking about the player himself, he's a decent player. He's got speed, got pace. He's right-footed, so he could probably do a job over in the right wing as well. In terms of a striker, not exactly prolific this season, I don't think. In terms of this season in particular, I think he's got about 4 goals in 13 appearances, or 4 goals in 14 appearances altogether. So it's not terrible, but it's not great particularly either. In terms of transfer fee, I think he'd be quite cheap, and that probably plays into Newcastle United maybe not being able to splash the cash massively thanks to financial fair play. Cheers, Mike Ashley, for that over the years. And maybe this is a player that can come in who doesn't mind playing third fiddle to Alexander Isak or Callum Wilson. He has got a little bit of quality about him in terms of his speed, his ability to kind of beat a man as well. But the stats don't make great reading, as you can see there, in terms of his goals. Mark's got him down there in terms of his career stats. So he's got 20 and 47 for Salernitana there. So it's not too bad that in terms of that return when you look at it on paper, but he's only got 4 and 14 this season. So he's not a prolific striker, I don't think, but a half decent one, I suppose. And maybe one that could be good for the squad. His transfer market value is 15 million quid. His weekly wage is very modest at 42, and his contract expires in June next year. So this could be one that Newcastle get over the line. But my concern with this is the African Cup of Nations, coming in January as well, and that does worry me. It really does in terms of the squad and the players that are in there. I'm just having a quick look now into the lineups. Yeah, Senegal is definitely there. So Dia would be a player that would be in there, and possibly another one of these targets as well. Another one of these targets that Ashworth has allegedly gone to look at as well. So I'm not sure this would be a particularly great deal for me personally, as much as I called him a shithouse for the previous interactions with the club. I think a loan deal for Hugo Ekitike might not be a bad idea. And Christ, even go over to Saudi Arabia, I see things like Karim Benzema deactivating his Instagram account because he's getting so much shit from the Saudi supporters. Why not go and try and get Benzema on a loan deal over this kid? He's not splashing the outlay, just the wages. Weirdly enough, you probably pay half of this transfer fee on Benzema's wages for 6 months. But I'm not entirely sure this guy would be the answer to the question. He's 27 years old. Is he going to get much better? I'm not entirely sure. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below about Boulaye Dia and whether you think he'd be a good signing or not. I think the time has come to stop taking chances on players. I think we need to sign tried and tested players who have got a reputation for doing things at the top level, because we need that quality in the squad. If you're going to use this kid to get rid of some of the deadwood, fair enough, but there is no deadwood in terms of a centre forward. It's just Wilson and Isak. So buy better, as Keegan always said. I'm not sure this kid is better. But apparently there was 2 other players that we've been linked to. I'll save the best to last. So the other player is a midfielder who is this lad here. It's Lassana Coulibaly. Now, you might remember him, any Rangers fans watching this. He used to play for Rangers back in the day. I don't think he tore up any trees. I remember him going on a bit of a Maisie Messi run. I think it was called the Marley Messi by the Rangers fans. But he got 1 goal in 25 appearances and 1 assist. I don't particularly think he set the world on fire on that one as well. In terms of his quality as a player, he's got a decent bit of awareness in terms of the midfield. His movement, he has got a goal in him, I suppose. He's got 3 goals and 83 appearances and 4 assists. But as I keep saying, buy better. He's not better. You can see that the stats. I mean, market competitive with Bruno, which is maybe unfair to Koulibaly, but Bruno's light years ahead of this guy. And in terms of the midfield position, I think that's where we actually do have some quality. We've got obviously Bruno, Joe Linton, Joe Willock when he's back, Sean Longstaff when he finds form again. Louis Miley's coming and being superb in that position. There's talk of Calvin Phillips coming in as well. That looks like a real hot deal. That could be the first one straight off the rack in terms of the hopefully a busy transfer window for the club. I don't think this kid adds any real value to the squad, and obviously he's going to be cup tied as well in the African Cup of Nations. I mean, all of these stories are really coming out of links over in Italy in terms of the press, and it says Gianluca Di Marzio is basically come out and said that Newcastle have been over watching these players, and there's no smoke without fire. So I'm sure that we have been over to look at these players. And Ashworth has been over to look at these players. But my comment, Dan Ashworth, if you ever watched the channel, which I doubt he would, is maybe go and look at better players, Dan, because I'm not sure these guys are good enough, to be honest with you, to improve this squad. Yes, I want rid of Deadwood like Matt Ritchie and people like that, but I'm not sure that these guys are the answer, especially 2 lads there who are going to be unavailable for 3 weeks in January. Not really my cup of tea. Look at the stats there, just glance at them in a bit more detail. Passing 14%, pass completion 17, not good enough. If these are the players that we're scouting, I'm not interested. I really am not. Go and get better players, Dan Ashworth, because this kid ain't good enough, in my opinion. Tackles there, 66 percentile, looks all right. So does interceptions, but not good enough. I really hope this is just agent talk, trying to get these players a better contract at the Serie A club than actually us looking at it. The last player that apparently would be linked, that is the only player of these 3 that I think would probably be a decent one to move for in the market, the best for last, and it's Lorenzo Perola. So he's an Italian centre-half, young lad, as well as you can see, there's only 21 years old, loads of improvement to come. Left peg, could be great cover for Sven Botman. He's got pace, which is something that Dan Burn has not got. Santa Claus didn't bring him that for Christmas. And he's strong in the tackle. He's got good positional sense. You can see his blocks there. He's right up in the kind of 90th percentile. Tackles 1 to 66. He's young. He'll get better in that regard as well. Clearances is up in the 62nd percentile. He's not great on the ball. He has got a decent ping on him in terms of switching the play, but his passing, his pass completion isn't particularly great. But that could be about the players that are around him as well. This is the only kid out of the 3 that I think could be a half decent player. Obviously, he was at Inter before, moved on, went to Monza, and then he's ended up at Salernitana. So he seems to be doing a decent job for them there. And at 21 years of age, he's going to get better and better. And what better players to learn from, than obviously Fabian Schär, Sven Botman as well. Botman's only 3 years older than the lad, so he could get better and better. He could probably fill and do a job at left back as well if he needed to do that. So I think this kid might be a decent option. The transfer market value there is between 6 and 7 million quid. Weekly wages on 9,000. This is the kind of player that I think is one of those ones for the future, which is a good addition to the squad. If you're going to shift the likes of Dummett out and not play him, you're going to shift the likes of Kraft out potentially and not play him. This is a good kid to replace him with in terms of younger, a little bit more in the locker, a little bit more of a ceiling for a player. So this kid is about the only one I'm actually interested out of the 3 of them. But let us know in the comments below what you guys think about these 3 players being linked. Are you disappointed like me? Would you like to see better players being linked to the football club? Yes, I know you need to fatten the squad out, but as Keegan always says, buy better, and I don't think that these 3 are any better. Yes, maybe Perola could be one for the future, but the other 2, Dia and Koulibaly, not for me. I'd rather see better targets being signed than that, but that's just my opinion. Let us know about yours. We always like to hear from you. Always do our best to reply. As I mentioned at the start, if you haven't already, consider subscribing. We're over 6,000 subs. Love you on board. Smash that button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of these videos with a pop-up or when we go live after a post-match analysis. We'd love to have you on board. It's all free content. If you want to give a little bit back, there is an option down there to click whichever one suits you best. So we'll be back with some more transfer rumours soon. They are heating up massively over the next few weeks, and hopefully Newcastle will have a busy January because, good God, we need it. Have a cracking day wherever you are, everyone. We'll see you later. Cheers. Bye.